Good evening, everyone. How are we? I hope you're well. We'll just wait a minute or two. Hello from Norway. Hi, Norway. I think that's the first for me. It's been a while since I had someone from Norway, that's for sure. Hi, David. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Alison. How are you? Hey, Matthew. Who else we got? And Diane. How are we? Just realised it's really warm in here this evening. Not, not late this time. Good. Well done. It's a tricky time slot. It can be. It can be trying to fill in there. Definitely. Hi, Mary. Hi, Ronnie. How are you? We'll just wait a minute or two before we get started. Oh, trust me, we've had all four seasons here today. I swear. We actually had hailstones earlier. I don't know about you, um, but then I was up in Bradford earlier, so that's probably why. I take my glasses off. I can't see. I have to put them back on again. Oh, we haven't had the thunder, but it did feel like it was really heavy earlier, so I'm kind of surprised we didn't. Mhm. So I think we can get started. So how are we all this evening? I hope we're all really well. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. Um, as you know, tonight is a free tour for anybody to watch, and you can actually watch this on repeat if you like what you see. You can watch it again on catch up later on. But if you are feeling generous or you've got a bit of loose change and you'd like to buy me a coffee, you can go to this link here and you can buy me a coffee there, and it'd be very much appreciated because it helps with all the time that I spend on all the tools that I do, and also paying people over in Egypt to send me video, which is also really really quite handy. Because I haven't been there for a while, but hopefully I'll be back there soon, so I'll be able to just for a holiday, so I'll be able to send you do some real-time videos as well, even though things changed a little bit over there and they've got a little bit stricter just recently with all the videoing within the temples and tombs and things. But anyway, tonight is quite an interesting one, and it's on a gentleman we know, we call Senemut. Let me just go to our slideshow here. Let's stop. So Senumet was actually, well, he was definitely an official in the 18th dynasty during the time of Hatshepsut's reign, but also we believe that he was Hatshepsut's lover as well. So we'll get into him a little bit as we go along. And we also have some video of the tombs as well, which is also very interesting to watch, because, you know, you have to pay extra to go and see these particular tombs. So they are on a special ticket. I was very lucky to have a friend who went to visit them. So she was able to take some video recordings for me as well. So you'll have to excuse the video. It's not the way I would video it, but I'm very grateful to her for doing it anyway, because I know she had very limited time while she was there, but it does give us an insight into what these tombs actually look like, so it's quite good. So Senemut then, he was actually, as I said, a government official during the 18th dynasty. We know his parents. He was the father of Ramos, and his mother was Hatnufer. These sarcophagi are in the Metropolitan Museum in New York, so you can go and see those if you're in the States. His name actually translates to brother of mother. Why? I'm not entirely sure, because again, with so much information that we have from Egypt, we don't have all the full picture, so we're having to piece together bits and pieces that we have managed to discover over the centuries. So we know that his mother and father were Ramos and Hatnufer, but much more than that, we're not quite sure. We kind of know that he was low common at birth, born to a literate parents, so they could read and write, which is always very good. And that they actually lived in Armont, which is the south of Luxor. Okay, so Armont is a very interesting place to go visit. The actual temple itself is in the middle of the village itself, so right in the middle, and you can go down some side streets and you'll find some other like pillars and things, and some of the houses actually built within the houses are built onto some of the temple pieces, and the main bricks actually for the temple were actually taken and used in the sugarcane factory, because the main sugarcane factory for Luxor is in Armont, and a lot of the bricks were actually used by the French to build the actual sugarcane factory. Unfortunately, it's not somewhere where we can go and visit just freely, because it's a governmental site. You have to get special permissions to go in there, so unfortunately I've not managed to go in there, because being of international birth, of English birth, I was not allowed to go in at the time when my family had the opportunity to go. So it was a bit of a shame, because I would love to have gone and seen how the hieroglyphics and blocks had actually been incorporated within the temple itself, or the factory itself, I should say. So Armont is a very mysterious temple. As you can see, there's not much left of it, and there could be some more excavation that could be done there, but unfortunately Armont's a bit of a funny city to go to visit anyway, and it's not a touristic place at all, so you have to be a little bit mindful when you go there. Not that you'd be unsafe, but you would get an awful lot of hassle if you did go there. As I said, the temple is smack bang in the middle of the village and quite difficult to find, so unless you know where it is, you wouldn't be able to find it. At the time I had family that actually their house backed onto it, so I was able to see it from there, and was lucky to visit it once over the 25 years that I was out in Egypt. Also, interestingly, just a side note, Cleopatra's son Caesarion was actually supposedly born in Armont Temple as well, so it's a little bit of extra history there for you, and they have a whole bit which is called the Caesarion, which is quite interesting, I think. So we're going to go to the first tomb, which is TT71, and this was the very first. Now, it's very unusual, because he did actually have two tombs, which again was very unusual for an Egyptian official to have, especially. So it does go to show that he had some kind of special treatment above other officials of the time. We know so much about Senumet because of his parents' tomb. These tombs were discovered intact by the Metropolitan Museum in the mid-1930s and preserved. Evidence of his funerary stela in his tomb he was depicted alone rather than with a wife. And in Chapel 110 from the Book of the Dead, in his tomb in TT 353, which we'll see in a bit, it is one of Senumet's own brothers and not his son that was charged with the execution of Senumet's funeral rites. So we know that he didn't actually have hi Sarah, he didn't actually have a family, so that does kind of leave credence again to the fact that he was in bed with Hatshepsut, so to speak, but they couldn't make it official because obviously she was pharaoh, or she was she was the regent to the up and coming pharaoh, and also she was of royal blood, so he wasn't allowed to be sort of like in bed with Hatshepsut, if that makes sense. So what we will do in a moment, let's just go carry on with the slideshow a little bit more first, and then we'll go to the videos. So this is the layout of TT71. Okay, so TT71, you can see it's like a crossbar. So you have the at the front you have this kind of like hyper style hall, if you like, type of situation with the pillars going on. You have these lovely windows, and then you have the going into the mountain a little bit into the back, but I will explain a little bit more when we go into it a little bit. It must be this too. Very good. Excuse me. Senemut's first enters into the historical record on a national level as steward of the god's wife, meaning he was working for Hatshepsut and steward of the king's daughter, Hatshepsut's daughter Neferuru. Now, some people do speculate that Neferuru could possibly have been his daughter, but again, we can't know that for absolute sure unless we've actually found Senemut and Neferuru and did DNA tests. So it's a little bit difficult to know for sure, but an awful lot of speculation was that he was her father. Egyptologists place Senemut's entry into the royal service during the reign of Tutmosis I. Tutmosis I was Hatshepsut's father, but it is more likely that it occurred during the reign of Tutmosis II or Hatshepsut. So when Tutmosis I died, Tutmosis II, his son, was still very young, hence why Hatshepsut became co-regent. So because she became co-regent, she would have needed counsel, and if she trusted Senemut a lot with the way he did things and officiary and things like this, and possibly was part of her father's court, she would have taken what he said on, or would have taken him on. So after Hatshepsut was crowned pharaoh, Senemut was given a more prestigious titles and became high steward of the king. He supervised the quarrying, transport and erection of 2 obelisks at the time, the tallest in the world in Karnak. Neither stands today, but are commemorated in the Red Chapel. He claims to be the chief architect of Deir el-Bahari, which is Hatshepsut's mortuary temple. TT71. So basically, the number indicates the tomb when it was found. So, like, you have the first tomb. So this was the 71st tomb that was found in this destination. Okay, so I can't remember, I think it's Theban something. I can't remember what the TT stands for now, but like in the Valley of the Kings, they're called KV. So KV, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that actually says it was Valley of the Kings and the number of the tomb. So we know that this was the 71st tomb to have been found in that area. That's how we know. So it was found quite early on, as we know. It's not the numbers inside the tomb. It's this is the 71st tomb they discovered in the area that they've said that it's TT. So this is why it's called TT71. As I said, so different areas like the nobles' tombs. The nobles' tombs are TT as well. So it's all the nobles' tombs area that are called TT, where you have the KV, which is the Valley of the Kings area. Okay, so Senemut has 2 tombs. The first, as I said, TT71, started shortly after Hatshepsut's ascension. Okay, so we can see here the layout of the tomb. And this is some of the decoration that they found inside that tomb. Not much is left. Now, before we get into our Theban tomb, thank you. Brain freeze today, I tell you. I obviously haven't. I need a gin and tonic or something to keep me going this evening. So before we go into any explanation of TT353, which is Senemut's second tomb, let's go to the video of TT71. Now, I'm not quite sure if there's sound on here. There might be, there might not. So I'll get going straight away with it. Let me just see if I've got some sound on my laptop to make sure I can hear anything. Very good. Okay, so let's get into this. So this is TT71. So this tomb was the first discovered, as I said, in 1930 by H.E. Winlock. The tomb was cut in a T-shape, we saw from the previous picture, into the rock. In front of it was a forecourt, approximately 40 metres by 25 metres, to overcome the steepness of the hill. An artificial terrace was built across the forecourt. A ramp connected the two parts of the forecourt. It seems that the frontal view of the tomb resembled a smaller form of Jeseru or Hatshepsut. Okay, so Jeseru is the name of Hatshepsut's mortuary temple, so it was given the name, like a smaller version of that anyway. The facade of the tomb was carved directly from the rock, and the central doorway opens into a traverse hall approximately 26 metres long, which is divided by a low row of 8 columns into 2 aisles. The centre doorway of the facade is flanked at each side by 4 square windows, which allow light to enter the transverse hall. On the rear wall of the pillared hall, several niches of different sizes were hewn into the rock in such a way that they were illuminated by the morning. In the morning, from the opposite windows. We don't know the function of the niches, but it is assumed that they held the statues of Senemut. Again, it's a bit of this is a bit of guesswork. At only one block statue has been connected to TT71. So again, you know, it's like with everything in Egyptology, you have to put a guessing brain on a little bit and take a look at other tombs and then try and connect the dots a little bit. So unless we find a little bit more information, it's a little bit difficult to put everything together. In the southwest corner of the pillared hall, a shaft was discovered which opens into a small chamber believed to be where Senemut's sarcophagus would have been laid to rest. But just before completion, work stopped on the tomb and work on his second tomb began. So let's have a look at this and see what you think, and see if you can see all the bits that I've talked about. Hold on, let me see if I've got some sound here. I don't know if I do. Let me just try turning that up a little bit. I don't know if you can hear any sound. You might not be able to, but it doesn't matter if you can't. So you can see the terrace there overlooking the Valley of the Nobles there. And you can see the little niches inside there as well, and how the tomb goes all the way to the back. Brilliant. I can't hear anything. Perfect. So as you can see, there isn't much of the tomb. It's all started. I'm not quite sure why this is so fast. She sent me quite a fast video, but here's some of the colour that's still left on the wall. So there isn't much. So it would have been started, but it wasn't finished because he then was allowed to have a second tomb. But the colours that are there are actually quite spectacular, actually. This is incredible. It must have been stunning when it was first done, you know. And I do get a little bit envy that I think we'll never get to see this in its full glory. But I mean, it is absolutely beautiful. It would be absolutely awesome. Right, so that is TT71. Okay, I haven't put it up onto YouTube yet, but I will be doing it in the next couple of days, so you can actually go back and watch that again at your leisure. Let's go back to here again, go through this once. They are very striking colours, aren't they? Again, just having a look at those few features that we have there. So TT353, as Senumet was one of the closest people to Hatshepsut. Now, when we say closest people to Hatshepsut, what we actually mean is we think that they were lovers. Okay. There has been sort of like depictions of like the first pornographic image that looks like something's happening between Hatshepsut and somebody, and this is sort of like in a cave that's just above Dar al-Bahri. Whether it is definitely a pharaoh that they're depicting, because we've got the pharaoh headdress, and it is a summation that it is actually Hatshepsut. So it is quite an interesting theory. Also, too, we have the statues of Senemut holding Hatshepsut's daughter, which you don't see, officials doing with other pharaoh's children, or royal officials' children, shall we say. So it's all a little bit strange. Also, Senemut wanted to be immortalised, but we'll get to that a little bit further on into the tour, okay? So he seems to have been given permission to build himself a second tomb, a much grander tomb. The tomb suggests that he had gone up in status, as he not only was a government official, an architect, but an astronomer. Now, this second tomb is actually quite amazing, and it is one tomb I would really like to see in person, because of the way it's decorated. It's very simply decorated, but the way it is decorated is quite fascinating, actually. But we'll get into that in a second. Now, why is it so fascinating? Due to its decoration and adorning the tomb. Okay, so that's why. The tomb was located at the site of Dar al-Bahri, near Hatshepsut's mortuary temple, close to Hatshepsut's temple, which Senemut is said to have created. Or he actually said that he created it. Whether he did or not, we're not quite sure. But we do know that it was actually based on a design of a temple that was next door to it. So he's obviously taken that design and he's run with it and has made it grander for Hatshepsut. Although the burial chambers did not hold the greatest treasures, the ceiling decorations are impressive. The tomb was decorated during the 18th dynasty. The walls were decorated with impressive celestial diagrams. Okay, so lots of astronomy going on in this tomb. So this is the layout of the tomb itself. So you can see it goes down a little bit. It's not the biggest tomb in the world, but it does hold quite a lot. Okay, so it's on 3 different levels with a possible burial chamber down into the bottom. So you've got the Book of the Gates in the first, as you come down the first set of stairs, you've got the Book of the Gates and the ritual well. Then you've got the staircase going down with the opening of the mouth ceremony. And then down in the bottom, you have the burial chamber with the Book of the Sacred Cow, the Book of Gates. There's all sorts of things going on the walls here. But as I said, it is the ceiling that is the most impressive in this tomb, which we'll get to see a video. So this is a look at the ceiling of what we will see when we actually see the video. The reason I want to show you on this is because in the video we can't actually see the whole thing as a whole, because the videoing isn't able to pick up the whole thing at once. But this is a look at what the ceiling does actually look like. So the southern and northern panels present circumpolar constellations. They're depicted in the form of discs, which we can see. What is the Book of the Sacred Cow? That's a very good question. Listen, I'm not 100% sure. I'll be completely honest about that. But the only other place I have seen it is in the tomb of Seti I. Okay, if you go into his, now you go down into the main burial chamber down the bottom. It's one of the first rooms over on the right hand side. So there is the room of the Sacred Cow in there as well. It is absolutely stunning. I've only just got my head around the Book of Gates and the Underworld and things like that. So the Book of the Sacred Cow is a new one that I haven't actually looked into yet, but it is on my bucket list of things to do. I know I'm a fountain of knowledge, but I haven't got everything just yet. Getting there slowly. Waiting for retirement so I can actually just study Egyptology as my full-time thing. Okay, so each one of them, these discs, presents 24 hours of a day. Deities of Egypt and the lunar cycles. It is of interest of note that the constellations presented of the diagram are well known to us today, as they show constellations like the Big Dipper. The decoration also depicts the circle of life related to the seasons of the year. The 4 standalone circles refer to Achet, a period which lasted from July to October. Another 2 circles show the planting season called Peret, which started every November and ended in February, and the last of the circles relates to the harvest season called Senumet, which lasted from March to June. Now, this is the only tomb that I know of that actually has this. According to astronomy specialists, the southern wall of the tomb ceiling is decorated with a map of the sky dating to 1534 BC. The ceiling depicts planets such as Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. Strangely, no sign of Mars. It is possible that Mars was painted as an empty boat located on the west. If so, it could have been connected with Mars being in retrograde, so it wouldn't be in line with the other planets. Again, the tomb was never finished, and it leads the question, was Senemut buried in perhaps a 3rd tomb, which is wholly possible, seeing as that he'd already taken 2 tombs already. So let's go on a little bit further. We will go into the have a look at the video for the tomb in a minute. Here's some ostraca of Senumet here. And this is the layout of the whole ceiling for you, which is beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. Okay, so that's the end of the slideshow there. So let's go to the video now. So this is the video of Senemut's tomb. Again, I find this absolutely fascinating. It's quite narrow to go in there. Unfortunately, you can only get like 2 or 3 people in the tomb at any one time, and it was quite difficult to be able to video. As you can see, an awful lot of it's missing. You know, there's no decoration. It's one of the wells going down. So this is actually the tomb with the celestial references in it, so the constellations. As you can see, this is actually quite amazing. Yeah, I've just literally, while I was saying that, I actually had a look at. I looked it up myself, Alison. So basically, the book of the book of the Heavenly Cow was an explanation why the sun god Ra withdrew from the earth and why death and suffering exists, basically, in short term. So look at this ceiling. It is very simply done. I mean, it is amazingly simple. And as you can see, it wasn't finished because we still have the line drawings on there, but it gives us so much information. It tells us an awful lot about what was going on at that time and what constellations were actually showing again at that time, in that period of time. I just think this whole tomb itself is absolutely fascinating, and as I said, it's one that I really want to go visit, because I have been on an 18th and 19th dynasty journey, and these would be amazing to be able to go see. It's something that I would like to put in my tour next year that I'm putting together for those of you that have already been, that want to go and see something a bit special. It is absolutely fascinating, isn't it? Absolutely amazing. So you've got these lovely hieroglyphics on the walls. I wish you'd just gone a little bit slower on panning round, but it's okay. Really intricately done, but as we can see, the ceiling was not finished. Which does mean, did Senumet have another tomb? Did he not? We know that Senumet disappeared all of a sudden out of history. We don't know why. But what we do know is he wanted to be going to the afterlife with Hatshepsut because he did put his image behind the door frame in Dahal Bahari. So it was hidden away. So there would have been cedar wood frame, and he actually put his name and his image behind. He did it twice actually, behind this wood frame in the chapel of Hathor. So he definitely wanted to get on the gravy train over into the afterlife with Hatshepsut, but he did it in a bit of a sneaky way that nobody would know that he was there, which I think is actually quite clever, quite ingenious really, if you think about it. I just think it's stunning, isn't it stunning? I just want to go in and photograph every inch of this tomb. I just think it's absolutely incredible. I'm afraid I don't have any winning lottery numbers, but I wish I did. I will be saving hard for this trip, I tell you. Incredible, isn't it? Just stunning. My trick would have been to lie on the floor, make sure that I could actually take photos from a distance. That would have been the best thing. So stunning, absolutely stunning. A tomb I would really like to get private access to. So simple, but so amazing at the same time. So that is Senemut, and as we know, I find anything to do with the 18th dynasty and the females at that time absolutely fascinating. Will you get access to it? How will you get access to it? I have to apply for special permission and then pay an exorbitant amount of money to go in. So I do believe it's like $2,000 or $3,000 to get the tomb opened. But I can have up to 20 people visit. So if we had that $3,000 and we split it between 20 people, it's not that much, or it's a lot less, should I say. So then if I would, in my mind's eye, what I want to do is go into the Sphinx's area, so I can go and see the Dream Stealer in Cairo. That's what I'd like to do. In Luxor, I would like to go and see Senemut's tombs, as well as Hatshepsut's tomb. I'd like to go into Tutmosis III's tomb again, because I've not been in there for a long time. And I'd like to go into Amenhotep II's tomb. So that's like 3 or 4 tombs on the west bank of Luxor to go and see, which would all tie in together, which I think would be great. And I'd like to go into Bey's tomb as well, which is Tausret's supposed lover, not lover. Perfect. But that's all in the works for next year. So I'm still working on that. Unfortunately, prices are being a bit of a pain to get hold of at the moment, but it is in the works and it is going to go forward. I can assure you of that. So has anybody else got any questions they'd like to ask me about Senemut and Hatshepsut before we roll this wonderful tour to a close? It's been absolutely wonderful seeing you all this evening. Got 15 people that stayed online with me tonight, which is absolutely brilliant. I love that. Yes, well, what I'm trying to do, Alison, is put the dates in so it's not so expensive for us to go, but also not too hot for us to go as well. So it's one of those catch-22s at the moment. I'm just working on a tour for another group at the moment, and once that's done, I'll be able to start work on ours, which will be great. Now, as I've said, this is a great, all my tours are free and you can access them again afterwards anytime you like. But if you would like to help me keep this channel going and would like to donate to help me keep it going, you can buy me a coffee at this link here. It also has all the tours that are coming up in the future. Sorry I had to cancel some a couple of weeks ago, but unfortunately work commitments got in the way. Darn work and having to make a living. And also I've moved just recently full-time up to Stafford now, so I had to sort of like close my house down, things like that. So it's been a very, very busy few weeks, but new beginnings, life is moving forward, and it's all getting very, very cool now. So thank you so much for coming with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I can't remember what I'm doing next week. Let me have a look. What have we got on next week? Let me see. Oh, we are exploring the pyramids next week. So what that means is I will take you inside a pyramid, and I will be explaining the pyramid and with photos and stuff that I've taken photos of before. And then the following week we will be doing a museum tour, and I think there's a cooking show that week as well. So if you're interested, do sign up to the channel, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please feel free to watch as many hours of my YouTube channel as possible. Because it means I can do a lot more for us, and maybe even get us a special members area put on there too. But for now, you still have some Egyptian pounds from the 80s. Wow. You'd probably still be able to use it, to be honest. Thank you everybody for coming this evening. It's been my absolute pleasure. Somebody asked me about where the tombs are located. Sorry, Wendy, I forgot to answer you. The tombs are located, one, where Hatshepsut's temple is. It's over just before you get to the long walk up. It's just down below the roadway on the right hand side. That's TT353, I believe. And then there's another one that is up in the hillside near where the Cachet of Mummies is. I think that's where that one is. I'm 100% sure, but it's overlooking the valley of the Nobles, so it's there somewhere. I kind of recognise it a little bit, but without actually standing there and visualising it properly, I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure. But that is it for me this evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. It's been my pleasure as always. I can't wait to see you all again next week. Don't forget to tell everybody to come and join me and join in the shenanigans. You will get a unfettered access to everything ancient Egypt with me, and also you never know what I'm going to say. I never know what I'm going to say half the time. I try and do as much research as I can, and every tomb, even though it might be a tour that you've done before, there's a big likelihood that I've done some research and I found a little bit more information. I am absolutely obsessed with reading everything to do with Aidan Dodson at the moment, so do check his works out as well. And what I will do is I will put some links in a couple of places so that you can find the books as well. So until next time, thank you very much for joining me. It's been my absolute pleasure. Stay safe out there, be good to yourselves, and I will see you all again next week. But until then, have a great weekend. Love to all. Bye for now, everyone. See you later. Bye.